Yeah, you need an initial hole. I don't care if my pants get wet. Where's the lid?
Welcome to Keep It About Ball, bitch.
Just a splash.
Shitbag lizard people.
Bro's QB2 is Aiden O'Connell.
Fuck Sean Payton.
Actually, when you add up the pick value, when you crunch the numbers,
Who the fuck's Jennifer?
Hey everyone, welcome into a solo episode of ZBR. I am the RNZBR, your host Reed, and I'm going to be giving you guys my all-time franchise rankings for the NFL, and we're going to start out with the bottom 8. And at number 32, this isn't based off of, I know a lot of people probably have 5, 6, 7, however many different categories they rank these teams off of, but for my bottom 8, it's not really based off of a whole lot other than the fact that they just kind of suck and have sucked all time for the most part. So number 32 is the Houston Texans, and they haven't been around too long, established in 2002, and their win percentage is pretty garbage, outside of Deshaun Watson and maybe some. I've had people argue with me, they have them ranked a little higher, but I just don't, and I won't. And it was really just a toss-up between them and the Arizona Cardinals, who I have ranked at 31. That was a pretty easy decision. It's a very, I probably had them a little higher until I started looking around and doing these rankings, and I was like, wow, you know what? Arizona sucks. They do. All time, pretty bad. Been around since 1920 and just, quite frankly, second to last in win percentage. Not a whole lot to show for it. Tampa Bay has the worst win percentage all time, but they at least have, a couple Super Bowls under their belt. So I definitely don't have them at the bottom. Definitely not bottom 5. So, 32, Houston Texans, 31, Arizona Cardinals. And coming in at 30 is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, it's unfortunate I have them this low in the rankings because I actually like them a little bit. I like pulling for them. Always had a little soft spot for the Jaguars for some reason. But they fall to 30 on the list. I compared my list to Brady's and Zach's, and I know we have a couple spots flip-flopped here and there, and some of us have maybe 1 or 2 in the bottom 8 that not everyone else does, but I think we all pretty much have the Jacksonville Jaguars pretty low in relative to the bottom 8 all time. It'd be really cool if Trevor Lawrence could somehow bring a Super Bowl to Jacksonville, maybe jump up on the all-time list. I just don't see it. A few things would have to pan out. It'd be tough. Maybe he has to go somewhere else, a team that's already ready. But we'll move on. At number 29, the Cincinnati Bengals, outside of Joe Burrow, We'll back up. Outside of Joe Burrow, they've really been pretty bad. Carson Palmer era was pretty fun. I mean, I guess a little bit of Andy Dalton, but not too much going on there. But overall, pretty below average for the most part. Doing these rankings, it's hard talking about the bottom 8, because especially if you're doing a solo, because it's just you can dig into some history and get real analytic with it, but it's just not fun to talk about, the bad teams. And in my eyes, at number 28 is a bad team. I know there's a lot of people that will argue with me about it. I'll die on this hill. At number 28, I have the Cleveland Browns, and it is what it is. It's where I have them. They're dog water. They've been dog water most of the time they've been around. Their old team is just surprisingly up there a little ways in win percentage. It's sitting at 20 all time, but just No, just no. They're sitting at 28. That's where I have them. If it's controversial, whatever. That's where they're at. Just deal with it. All right, not changing it. You have to give a pretty compelling argument for me to bump up the Cleveland Browns out of my bottom 8, 100%. And a team that I thought I would have had ranked a lot lower coming in at number 27, the Detroit Lions. I have a decent amount of respect for the Lions. If you go back and look at, as a Vikings fan, you go back and look at the history of all the matchups in the last 11 years, and if you look at whoever won and lost, doesn't matter who, it's all typically been within like one score win or loss. They just, no matter how bad the Detroit Lions are, they always bring a respectable game come Sunday, whatever night they play against the Vikings. So they're sitting at 27. 26 is the Atlanta Falcons, and everyone knows about the Super Bowl, blunder. If they would have won that, definitely would have them ranked higher all time, but for the most part, just a pretty meh and underwhelming franchise. Not too much going on for the Falcons. And as far as all-time win percentage, they sit at 28. A lot of other things you can factor in if you want, but I'm keeping it pretty basic for my bottom 8, not talking about too much other than win percentage and the fact that they've been bad. And it's not going to sugarcoat it, just bad franchises, whether they've been run terribly or bad luck or whatever it may be. I know for the most part the Lions, they've just been run terribly. Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson are two good examples of players that retired in their prime because the franchise, the franchise would not let them go, and they're just like, all right, I'm retiring. Don't want to do anything else. And the last one, at number 25, and this one bounced around a little bit. I ended up settling on the Carolina Panthers. It was number 24 and 25 for me were flip-flop, and I ended up settling with the Carolina Panthers at number 25. And outside of, I don't know how competitive they were with Jake Delhomme, and I remember them being pretty alright. Cam Newton taking them, being Superman, going to the Super Bowl, and choking. Panthers 25. And I'm sorry if this solo has not been up to par. I apologize. It was a lot more fun. We actually had all three of us together doing a take, but due to some technical difficulties, all the recordings had to get scrapped and had to settle for solos. But next time we're bringing you guys the next chunk on our all-time franchise list. It should be a lot more entertaining, a lot more jokes, laughter, all of us talking and picking on each other's picks where we got them, asking questions, this and that. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. And that's it for my bottom 8 from all-time NFL franchise rankings, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Shitbag lizard people.
Bro's QB2 is Aiden O'Connell.
Bucks on Peyton.
Actually, when you add up the pick value, when you crunch the numbers,
Who the fuck's John?